Welcome back, everyone, to our Catbot Cafe for this week. We have some special guests here, Chairman Ting and Alex Bain. They are a very interesting collaboration that we're working with them on. We met them actually through Blockchain Foundry, our mutual partners. So that was great to be able to be working as kind of brother projects. They launched a project Billion Buns. They can talk a little bit about that. And also they're in the process of launching very soon Space Buns. So very excited to be working with them and meeting with them and just taking this conversation and see if we can glean some insights and what they do and how they roll. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll start with you, Chairman. I know that you were working on the Billion Buns side of things. Tell us a little bit about your journey to NFTs and how Billion Buns kind of came about.
Yeah, I started, I would say half a year before the launch of Billion Buns with a national hockey league I can't disclose. And they reached out and I kind of heard about what NFTs were and learned a little bit about it online here and there. But I was lucky enough to help them create a whole collection. They still haven't launched, funny enough. But in between that time, once after I wrapped up the project, all I did was the art. I was approached by Blockchain Foundry. They had launched their new subsidiary company called Last Known, and Last Known is a marketplace where they start selling NFTs. And I was their very first artist, and so I had the very first child treatment. They put all the resources behind me, and I was very lucky enough to launch with Last Known, and we kept delaying it. I was very anxious. It was September, then it was October, and then finally in January we launched. And thankfully we launched early enough, right before the whole crypto crash. So I was lucky enough to sell it in 48 seconds, all 888, and it was really electrifying. And I kept telling everyone that I felt like a kid again. It was the first time I've had this crazy excitement. It was this brand new world, like selling NFTs that no one knew what it was. I didn't really know what it was. And just creating something out of thin air, and with no constraints, which is, very liberating, especially from someone that comes from advertising that works with corporate brands for almost 2 decades. So, here I am able to sell my own thing, put my own name behind it, and create a story, which is very creatively very rewarding.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that. That whole excitement, we launched pretty much very similar time frame to go through that process and the whole minting out element of it, and Web3 being able to create your own project and create brand new IP and brand, this excitement surrounding that. You referenced the many years you had in Web2 industry. What kind of insights do you glean from, moving from a Web2 to Web3 that other people like yourselves who are considering doing something similar, anything you can share about that?
Yeah, I think I'm very fortunate to have been working in advertising for so long, because I think the basic marketing principles are the same. Storytelling is the same. So all the Web2 aspects of being able to create a story, such as a trailer, a comic book, the way that you write a tweet, creating the graphics, everything from a little banner to an actual trailer, everything has to be cohesive and really work together in harmony. And just like launching a campaign, when I was working on Jumpman 23, our campaign was for a little documentary to a trailer to hype beast banner ads to creating the hashtag. So everything that I have been trained to do for the past 20 years as an art director, I was able to apply to this Web3 world. So I think those basic principles of advertising and marketing is still the same. And so I was able to bring a lot of that Web2 thinking back into the Web3 world, no matter how high tech everything is.
Yeah, right. Now, when you're looking at the Web2, Web3, these are the things that you bring into the space. What are the distinct disadvantages or challenges transitioning from the two?
I think the big disadvantage from moving from Web 2 to Web 3 is the speed. Like Web 2 is built more for longevity. Web 3 is just this scattershot, shotgun approach, and it's also and just mind-bending speed. Like no one has the time, the attention span that is required, and everyone's just on to the next shiny thing. So it's really hard to hold that attention span for people. So even though we're launching in 3 days, I'm not too worried because I know it's the last sprint, right? It is a marathon for sure, but the real work is the sprint at the end, because everyone's just like that short-sighted, or not short-sighted, the short attention span, and it's just the speed of things is just mind-bending, and I don't think it's sustainable, and it's not healthy either.
Right. So a lot of these things that we also deal with on a regular basis. The speed and velocity is just shocking to people coming to the space here. This is a question between either you or Alex. From going from Billion Buns over to now Space Buns, the handoff or transition, or like what lessons are you taking from your first mint into the second? And Alex, if you can introduce yourself and share more about Space Buns and what's going on with that as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm Alex Bain. I had a studio called Tangible Interaction here in Vancouver, and we've been friends with Carson for too long, a really long time. We met through work. Like we met like during the Vancouver Olympics. I was working on a pretty crazy project, and then Carson was one of the artists that I got to work with. And I saw a bit of very little of what Carson was doing about the NFT, because honestly, when he was working on NFT, I was kind of like, I would hear the news, stuff like that, but I was really not paying that much attention. There's been so many fads and so many things that come and go. That's like, this is probably gonna go. But then I saw Carson getting into it, and it's like, and then, he did really well. And then he was like pretty much preaching to everybody about NFT. And then he got me into it. And now like 6-7 months later, I think I spent some more time on NFT and, all the production stuff that I ever have on any other project in my life. So it's been an interesting project. But anyways, about Space One. So I came in, actually the reality of how this happened is it's a little strange. When Carson successfully launched his NFT, he said, you should get into NFT and stuff like that. And it's like, well, maybe I should actually consider this thing. The space that we work in is always about like creating real life experiences for people. I very much wanted to abandon the Web 2 world like many years ago, because I thought, there was not the future that I was interested in pursuing. So I left in 2007, and I said, for me, it was about like creating real life experiences with people, getting people, creating community, all that kind of stuff with persons in a space. So when Carson was talking about like doing an NFT, I was thinking, well, if I do an NFT, I want to do an NFT that is different. I don't want to do just like another illustration, something like that. I want to do something that has some kind of like connection with the real world. And I started like sharing ideas with Carson, and everything sucked from Carson's point of view. It is in there. It's
true friends.
And then I was saying, I started to tell him, why don't we do an NFT together? Like we just do like a chapter 2, what you're doing. And I think at the time I was thinking about doing these little astronaut kind of like characters, nothing to do with Space Ones yet. And then I wanted to put like a little music to them, stuff like that. And then through conversation, this became like, it's like, well, let's make them bunnies, and let's make them, like a second chapter of these bunnies. And then that's how like kind of like Space Ones arrived into this world. And then, we're launching a collection that it is both, Web3 and digital, but also, it's in part like real. Like, we're making a bunch of vinyl characters that we're going to be giving to people that own the NFT. So I'm very happy that we're kind of like we're still working with something. We're actually creating community and talking to people and creating like this really great like fan base of people that actually follow the project, but we're also able to give them something that is physical. And there's a whole bunch of ideas that are going to be going around this vinyl toy, and like created these little workshops where people can customize them, live with cars, and there's a bunch of stuff that is going to be that I think is really important for the, as part of the NFT.
Yeah, I love the fact you guys are working the physical, and I want to hear more about tangible as well. One thing that I am myself personally curious to see is, a lot of projects now have developed or at a stage now where going from the first mint to the second mint, there's kind of a transition stage there. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who are kind of wondering, what is it that you change, or like, what are the lessons learned from mint number one to mint number two, and how is that transition happening? Is that something that Chairman, are you working? I'm sure you're working closely with Alex to figure out what those things are. Are there specific insights that you've gleaned that you are incorporating into the second mint?
I would say just most from our intuition, to be honest, because everyone who we talk to has a different narrative, and every day honestly changes. Like, I'm sure you know how it is. When I was talking about speed, like every day someone does something new.
Right.
And at that point, we made several pivots from our initial, from ocean buns now to space buns. So there were so many other iterations in between. But at the end of the day, like Alex and I were like, we're here to have fun, and we're here to really do something that we're proud of. And so we started to stop listening and looking at, analytic. I mean, we didn't really have any analytics, to be honest. We just started to go by our gut. I think we know that it's no coincidence that Alex's studio is called Tangible. So we wanted to have his whole idea behind this NFT to really come to life, having an actual tangible product, as opposed to just having an actual just soft art on a screen. We wanted to have a tangible thing. And the second thing that we also learned was that there's a huge hurdle getting into the NFT space. Someone told us that there's only 500,000 people in the world that are engaged with NFTs. And I asked him how he got this number, and he said he scraped all the wallet number of addresses on OpenSea. I mean, that's only 500,000. So people have multiple addresses. So that's probably less than 500,000. So that really set off a light bulb in our heads. We're thinking, man, we really need to open this up. And so we're going to offer a Visa card purchase, enable people to purchase our NFTs with Visa cards. Because, a lot of friends and family want to support us, but they don't know how to support us. Explain to them trying to buy Ethereum, to buy an NFT is a huge journey. You might as well just get them to, climb Mount Everest. It's probably easier than to actually set up a wallet. So I think hopefully, fingers crossed, with this Visa enablement, it will really open the gates and help us mint out. So those are some of the things that we've been toying around with. I mean, we're not toying. We're actually executing that now with using a Visa card, along with just traditional, minting methods. So I think we are really going uphill. It's an uphill battle, and we realize that. It's the timing of it is the climate of NFTs. The word NFTs, some people get knee-jerk reactions. So it's like, don't even come near me. So I think we're still going to forge ahead, and it still comes back to being, from our intuition and going with our gut.
Yeah, I see that the Web2 implications or implementation of like a Visa credit card payment system, which would be very firmly ensconced in kind of how things used to be. Another collaboration partner of ours also used that to great effect. It was really important for him to be able to actually open that door and gateway for more people to come in. So, when it comes to utilizing the tool sets that we're quote unquote outdated or really not something that we were working on with Web3. That's something there's definitely a shift happening in the marketplace that I'm recognizing and seeing. One of the pivots that we had done was really focusing on the IRL events as well. And so that's why I want to go back to Alex on Tangible, because I know you showed some of the tech that you guys are doing. We're really looking forward to collaborating with you guys too, because some of the stuff you guys are doing is just fantastic. And I know that the work we've done so far, being able to do more IRL things, and the fact that you have a physical object that you're creating in conjunction with the digital, there's a lot of projects and folks moving that direction too. So tell us more about on the tangible side of things. What do you see, kind of how you're going to implement that experience and experiential in real life with the NFT, including the physical objects that you guys are producing?
So we already actually had an in real life event. It wasn't exclusive for Space, and it was just more like for the NFT community here in Vancouver. And I'm fortunate that I have a pretty big studio where we work from. There's like a with a really big open space, and we basically just put up a bunch of installations that we have in storage. We just brought them out and then have people like come in and play with and mingle and stuff like that. And I just love doing that kind of stuff, and I think that's so necessary. We are so isolated nowadays, especially the more we move. It's so easy to move from country to another country because of a career, because of whatever, that we don't realize how much we isolate ourselves. We just separate ourselves from like families and friends. And then I think that at least Vancouver, and I know many places, we need to create excuses for people to connect. And sometimes it's just not easy. So you actually have to create moments of connection. You have to create objects that connect people. You have to create things that are going to bring people together, and then like surprise them, give them a bit of a sense of awe, and then in that moment I think people can actually share. They can actually open up and then discuss whatever is in front of them. So that's why that's why kind of like why I left the Web 2 and 2.0 world, because I thought it was in that very isolating world, and I didn't want to be part of it. I just want to be part of a connecting world. And if we can actually combine Web3 with IRL stuff, and it even like find other ways of connecting people, even if it's just, even through just using like other channels. I know that Discord is a great connector for a lot of people. I still feel that it's quite anonymous, and I would love to be, create like spaces of connection that are a little bit more personal. And what those are going to be, we don't really know yet. But hopefully we'll discover something new.
Yeah, really looking forward to see how and where you push that boundary and edge in this space that's, every day, like, we've been talking about, there's something new, fresh, innovative coming up. And we are like racing to figure out what that is and put something, and then all of a sudden we have to like make these pivots and such. What do you guys, and I'd like to hear from both of you, when it comes to Web3, NFTs, there's a lot of like FUD out there. There's a lot of concerns, crypto winter. What are you guys most excited still for NFTs and for this larger playground that we're playing in?
I'm excited to see, right now I'm excited for Friday. and also very nervous for Friday, but I'm excited for
on Friday
for like the future collaborations, and hopefully NFT world would actually come back to a normal. It's like huge, and now it's like really bad, and now hopefully we'll actually start like stabilizing, and then we'll be able to work more with other groups. I think the things that we're doing, even this thing that we're doing together, I think is really cool. Finding like groups that have something in common and kind of like bringing them together through collaborations, I think is really, really fun. And I think I'm always like excited about like coming up with ideas. So it's like, what is the next thing we're going to do that we have no idea we can't even think what that's going to be yet until we're like, this is the moment to think. And then we just start thinking. So I'm really excited about the creative opportunity, keep making.
What about
Yeah,
you,
I'm
Chairman?
I'm with Alex. It's really the unknown that excites me. Not knowing,
Mm,
what is next for the space is really exciting. Um, there is no playbook. There is just truly the Wild West, and I love that about it. It's scary, but at the same time, it's very exciting. So, for example, I'm working on a Bill and Buns TV show with two writers and a TV producer. So, building IP as to further Alex's point, you know, to based on that one project that we worked on, and now Space Buns, being able to really extrapolate from there and move above and beyond to TV shows, potentially, video games, merch. We already have the merch out, so this is one of the buns on my head.
nice.
Um, that's what excites me. Being able to build something from the ground up that is yours. Uh, that's so different from, say, like, building brands for other corporations that we've been doing for so many years. We get to finally do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I find that really exciting.
Yeah, I'm totally excited about that as well. For us at Catbot, it's sparking the creative core, such a big part of what we're trying to accomplish and giving people opportunities to do so. And seeing what you guys are working on, the collaborations that we'll be putting together, the activations I'm really excited for. Also, I know you have some interesting things going on with the collection itself with Catbotica and Space Buns. So very excited to see that. Give us a scoop on what Friday is going to look like. Mint. What's how many? What's the lowdown on Space Buns?
So there's 3,600 supply. The pricing, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, because I've lost the plot after my vacation. I think it's 0.077
Yeah.
ETH for whitelist. And then public mint, what's public mint?
It's 0.099.
0.099. And 3,600. And there's free mints for all original bun holders. I think there's around 4.
And there's this guy.
Oh yeah,
Like
and that's a huge part.
Like I think we have to, there's a minimum we have to mint. I think I can't remember, it's like 30% or 50%. And then this goes into production. And as you can see, like this is the one that we 3D printed and like carbon printed by hand. But we're actually doing something that is not fully printed, like this. Because we're actually leaving space for people to customize it. So it becomes kind of like a coloring book.
It's a 3D coloring book, basically.
Yeah, love that.
So simultaneously, as we were working towards building the art, Alex has been really working really busy with finding different suppliers, and finding the right supplier to create these 3D vinyl toys. I think we're starting to mint on a Friday.
We'll get the details on a slide and put it up. Yeah, last thoughts, you guys are heading to the mint now. You guys have gone through a tremendous experience. The experience you guys have is very unique. There's not many people who actually say that they've launched an NFT project. Most people don't know what NFT projects are, or NFTs are, or how you're using them. So you're crafting like a very interesting and a use case for them that, it's kind of bleeding edge on the technology and development and art and collaboration, all these things. For me, it's like, what are the insights that someone who's listening to this could really be like, oh, that's really something that I can take away from? Like, is there anything you want to leave anything with that respect?
I always like to say that there's never a shortage of ideas. It's really honing in on that one idea and executing it with speed. That's my takeaway, because we're always overwhelmed. There's so many ideas. We just have to find that one thing and follow through and do it fast. That's for me. And Alex, not to put you on the spot.
No, I think for me, it's like, I don't know, like the move that we're making right now, like this minting could have, like, we could have, oh, let's wait 6 months, let's wait a year, let's see how the market goes. Like, we just decided, like, screw it, let's just do our own thing. We've been working so hard on our project. We've been talking to so many people about it. It's about time to do it. And we're not really listening to speculating with the market or any of that kind of stuff. We're just gonna do it. So at the end of the day, it's just a project of love, and then hopefully people will see that, and then they will love it too.
Awesome, guys. We'll be there with you minting along with the rest of the fans here. Thanks for joining us today, and best of luck on Friday.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Bitch niggas be like, oh my God.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. We're always looking to find the people who are really active in the space, pushing the boundaries in Web3, and bringing those insights to you direct. Thanks again.